Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Christy and I'm a homeschool mom to 3 kids, and today we're discussing read-alouds for young children. Read-alouds are so beneficial for the entire family, no matter their age, and there comes a point when you kind of transition from just reading picture books into reading some more chapter books and more lengthier pieces of literature for young kids. So when I'm selecting read-alouds, I may kind of alternate which direction we go with read-alouds. And so today I'm going to be discussing some of the books that we have actually read for read-alouds that my 5-year-old really enjoyed. We have just started adding chapter books into kind of the mix for him and kind of including him more in our read aloud time this past year. Before that, when he was in preschool, he wasn't really all that interested in the chapter book read alouds that we did, so I didn't really cater them much to him. I just focused on my older daughter. But now he is kind of growing in his attention span and his being able to sit still and be relatively quiet during read aloud time, and so these are some of our favorites that we have read. The first series I'm going to talk about is the Bear Grylls series. Now this series is the Bear Grylls Adventure series. He has quite a few different kind of books and series that he's written, but he's an adventure guy, and this book series is based on having adventures all over the world in extreme situations, but in a very fictional, magical way, with kids from like a real life perspective get transported to these places, and they have to overcome obstacles and challenges to kind of get through what they're facing in that extreme situation, while also teaching them a really good moral lesson for something that's going on in their life back at home. This is a fantastic series. It's interesting, it's engaging, it's not too long, so I find the chapter books that are a bit shorter are a lot easier for little ones to kind of get through and pay attention to. It's got really fun illustrations inside. The text isn't too lengthy. Both my kids really like this one, but it just really helped to hold his attention too. Another one that we really enjoy is The Mouse and the Motorcycle, and this one has very little pictures in it, but the story is really sweet. It's about a mouse and a motorcycle, and it's told from the mouse's perspective. Anytime animals are the main characters in a book series, I think that those are really good series to start with younger kids. Nim's Island was a book that we actually read last year for our curriculum, but Emmett listened to a lot of this, and I think I want to reread it again with him starting from the beginning. This is a really good book. It's adventurous, it draws you in, and it's about a little girl on an island with her dad, and so she lives on this island and she's got to solve some really big problems and challenges all on her own, and it's just really entertaining. Again, it's not a super long read, and there are a few illustrations kind of trickled throughout, but it's a very descriptive story, and I like those kinds of books too, because it's teaching kids to kind of paint a picture in their head by listening to the descriptions of the places and events. Charlotte's Web is such a classic book to start with these younger years. I think it's entertaining, it's sweet, it's a little bit emotional, so it teaches kids to kind of like emotionally connect to a story. Again, with the animals being some of the main characters, that's a really good feature for younger kids. It teaches them some lessons about friendship and that sort of thing, and there's also a movie on it, so it's a really sweet book for those younger years. Mr. Popper's Penguins is a fun, very silly read. A lot of it doesn't really make sense because in real life you would never be mailed a penguin, but that's what makes it fun. I find that if a story is really silly and quirky, maybe it's not realistic, but it's fun and that kind of thing, really draws in those younger kids as well and keeps them entertained. There's a lot of like sound effects and stuff that you as the parent could really play off of to entertain them, and we all really liked this one. Hotel Flamingo is one of our favorite book series. There's 4 books in the series. These are Usborne books. I don't know, you probably can get them not on the Usborne site, website. I'm not sure though. But it's about a little girl, Anna, and she suddenly becomes an owner of an animal hotel. And so she's got to run this hotel, and all of her like co-workers are animals, again with the animal theme. And this is super sweet, super funny. A lot of funny things happen, and it kind of is in a way kind of like a metaphor and like kind of brings in like real life, like somebody running a hotel and the hard work of doing that to a kid's perspective. And like, I don't know, it's just a really sweet story, and we really love this one. There's also pictures inside, and the illustrations are super sweet. They kind of remind me a little bit of Roald Dahl a little bit in the illustrations, like Matilda and stuff. And we really enjoyed this one. Another one of our favorites is the Heartwood Hotel series. We have read 2 of these books. We're planning on purchasing the 3rd one soon, but this is such a sweet series. We love this, and it's about Mona the mouse, and this tree is a hotel, and she doesn't actually have parents or a family or a home, and so she finds herself in this Heartwood Hotel, and she decides to make that her home. And she deals with a lot of nature problems, like with different animals. She's trying to fit in and make friends and learn how to kind of work for this hotel. She solves a lot of problems. There's a lot of problem solving in here. It's funny, it's interesting, it's suspenseful, and we really enjoy this series. There are also illustrations in here, and the animal characters are just adorable. The last ones I'm going to talk about kind of go together because they're by the same author and they're kind of written the same style. We have The Adventures of Elfie Onion, which is about Elfie, and he's like from a really long line. He has a ton of brothers, and there's like a saying that one of his brothers, I don't remember what number, is it the 15th or 14th brother, was supposed to have this grand luck and bring prosperity and wealth to their family, and so he has to go with that brother on an adventure. And this one takes place in kind of medieval times with knights and castles and princesses, and it's super funny and silly and adventurous, and we really enjoyed this one. My son really does like adventure stories where there's like knights and stuff and like a hero of some kind, and so this one's a really good one. Cherry Pie Princess, we actually haven't read yet, but it's similar, I think, to this one. So this one's about a princess who kind of has to save her kingdom as well. So we, like I said, haven't read that one yet, but same author, same style of illustration, so I'm sure it's going to be similar to Elfie Onion. So these are really great. These are also Usborne books, but again, you can probably get them somewhere else, like thrift books or even maybe Amazon, I'm not sure. So those are all of the read alouds for young readers I'm going to mention today. I hope that you found this video helpful in some way. I know it can be a little bit tricky making selections that will hold younger kids' attention in that transition into chapter books. So these personal experience have been great. The kids are not going to sit still 100%. They may still interrupt because it's just their age. I suggest always giving them something to do with their hands, whether it's some toothpicks and marshmallows. That's one thing we do a lot, where they build little towers. Play-Doh, something to color, something to tinker with quietly. I allow that. However, I do have a pretty strict rule with them being quiet, because it's really hard to read over noise. And my oldest daughter really likes to listen, and she likes the quiet. She likes to hear what I'm reading. So as long as they're not being distracting to the other kids and I can read without yelling over them, I allow them to play quietly with something. I think that that helps their focus and helps them be able to listen longer. I hope you enjoyed some of these tips and suggestions, and I will see you guys in another video very soon. Bye.